سنبدأ إن شاء الله. طيب. Can everyone hear me? It's clear? بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله الذي بنعمته تتم الصالحات، والصلاة والسلام على النبي العربي المبعوث للناس أجمعين، وبعد. We are on unit الوحدة الخامسة, on unit 5, الطعام, food, and والشراب, drink. So this unit will talk about food and drink. Al-Ard, he's displaying now the first conversation. As usual, Kal-Ada, we will talk about and explain each 3 conversations, and your responsibility as a student of knowledge is to go through all the exercises and to listen to all the audio tracks and to write each conversation in your notebook and to memorize each conversation. We will randomly choose different students to read each conversation from the top of their memory, inshallah ta'ala. We might even choose 2 students to act out that conversation. So al-Hiwar al-Awwal, the first conversation, undur, look, wastami', and listen, and wa'a'id, and repeat. This conversation is between Qasim and Salim. Qasim said to Salim, Aina, where tadhabu, are you going, ya Salim, O Salim? Salim replied back, ila al-mat'ami, to the restaurant. Mat'am means restaurant. Kam wajbatan, Kam, how many? Wajbatan, meals. Ta'kulu, do you eat? Fil yawmi, in a day. How many meals do you eat in a day, meaning daily, basically. Fil yawmi, on a daily basis. He said, Akulu, I eat. Thalatha wajabatin, 3 meals. Al-futura, breakfast. Wal-ghada, and lunch. And wal-asha, not isha, Asha, and dinner. So he said, I eat 3 meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, supper. Then he said, هذا كثير جدا. هذا, this is كثير, a lot, جدا. So basically he's saying this is too much. هذا كثير جدا. This is too much for you to eat 3 meals a day. Why? This is the reason. السبب. He said, أنا آكل, I eat. وجبة واحدة, I eat 1 meal. وجبة, meal. واحدة, 1. I eat 1 meal. Then he said, هذا قليل جدا. He said, that is too little. Like this is too little. For you to eat 1 meal a day is too little. هذا, this, قليل, little, جدا, too. So this is too little. طيب. ماذا تأكل في الغداء? Now we want to know what they eat. So if he's eating too much, what is he eating? If he's eating too little, what is he eating? Then he said, ماذا تأكل في الغداء? What do you eat for lunch? He said, آكل, I eat. اللحمة, meat. والدجاجة, chicken. والأرز, and rice. And والخبز, and bread. آكل, I eat. اللحمة, meat. والدجاجة, and chicken. والأرز, and rice. والخبز, and bread. وماذا تأكل أنت? What do you eat? He said, آكل, I eat. السمك, fish. والسلطة, and salad. والفاكهة, and fruit. So he eats fish, salad, and fruit. ما وزنك? What's your weight? ما وزنك? What's your weight? Here he said, 60 كيلا, 60 kilogram. 60 كيلا, 60 kilogram. وما وزنك أنت? What's your weight? Then he said here, 100 kilogram. He said, I weigh 100 kilogram. Then he said, أنت سمين جدا. أنت, you are سمين, fat, جدا, very. So you are very fat, meaning you're overweight. And then he said the opposite. He said, وَأَنْتَ نَحِيفٌ. You are thin, جدا, very, you are very thin. So thin is the opposite of fat. Samin is the opposite of nahif. Then the mu'allif said, al-mufradat al-ard. The now vocabulary. Al-mufradat. You'll see this a lot in the book. He wants you to memorize these vocabularies and practice with the exercises. Naam. Any questions? Al-hiwar al-thani. The second conversation. Undur, look, wastami' and listen, wa'a'id and repeat. So here we have two people now. We have al-mudayyifa and al-musafira. So we have a female traveler and the air hostess. So al-mudayyifa or al-mudifa, here is the air hostess, okay? Al-mudifa, the air hostess. طيب. Then she said, ماذا تطلبين من الطعام? So this is al-mudifa. So the air hostess is asking the traveler, al-musafira, the female traveler, ماذا, what? تطلبين, ماذا تطلبين? What would you order or request min al-ta'ami, for food? So basically she's asking her, what do you want to eat? Because again, they're traveling, they're on an airplane. So the flight attendant and the air hostess is asking the traveler, the female traveler, ماذا, what تطلبين, will you order or request min al-ta'ami, from food? He said, and then she said, بعض السمك. Al-Musafira said, بعد السمك, some fish, wal-aruz, and rice, min fadlik, please. We already finished min fadlik and we said it was please. Then she said, وَمَاذَا تَطْلُبِينَ مِنَ الشَّرَابِ, and what would you request from drinks? So, and what drink would you like to order, basically? وَمَاذَا تَطْلُبِينَ, what would you like to order? مِنَ الشَّرَابِ, from the drinks. Then she said, مَاءً, water, min fadlik, please. وَمَاذَا تُفَضِّلِينَ مِنَ الْفَاكِهَةِ, وَمَاذَا تُفَضِّلِينَ مِنَ الْفَاكِهَةِ, and what fruit would you prefer? وَمَاذَا تُفَضِّلِينَ. تُفَضِّلِينَ means here to prefer something, right? So she's saying, what would you like, what would you prefer? Min al-fakiha, from the fruit. And she said, at-tamra aw al-inab. She said, dates or grape, whichever of those two fruits that you have, I'll take them. At-tamra, dates, and awil, or al-inaba. At-tamra aw al-inab. هل تشربين الشاي? She said, هل, would you, تشربين, drink, would you like to drink الشاي, and tea? She said, لا, no. أفضل, I prefer القهوة. القهوة. In a lot of lahja, in slang, they said qahwa. Instead of qaf, they say ghain, qahwa. But al-Fus'ha is qahwa, qahwa, qahwata. طيب? نعم. So she doesn't like tea, and she's asking for coffee. She's asking for coffee. نعم. طيب. Then she said, al-qahwatu bil-halib. Do you want coffee with milk? Al-qahwatu bil-halib. She said, na'am, yes, al-qahwata bil-halib. Al-qahwata bil-halib. She said, yes, I'll take coffee with milk. Halib means milk. القهوة بالحليب. She said نعم القهوة بالحليب. هل تريدين شيئا آخر? She said, do you need anything else? هل تريدين, do you need شيئا آخر? Anything, شيئا, anything. آخر means else, anything else. Then she said, لا, no. وشكرا, thanks. Then she said, عفوا, my pleasure. عفوا, my pleasure. Any questions? Inshallah, we'll finish the last one for tonight. الحوار الثالث, the third conversation. انظر, look, واستمع, and listen, وأعد, and repeat. And this is between now الزوج, the husband, and his wife, الزوجة. السلام عليكم وعليكم السلام. أنا جوعان. أنا جوعان. أنا جوعان جدا. I'm very hungry. جوعان means hungry. جدا means very. So he said, I'm very hungry. She said, الغداء, lunch is, على المائدة, is on the table. الغداء, lunch, على المائدة, is on the table. مائدة means table. على means on. نعم. الزوج, ما هذا? He said, what is this? سمك, fish, ولحم, meat, ودجاج, chicken, وأرز, and rice, وسلطة, and salad, وفاكهة, and fruits. هذا كثير جدا, this is too much. هذا, this, كثير, much, جدا, too. So he said, this is too much. How come we have today fish, meat, dajaj, chicken, aruz, rice, salata, salad, فاكهة, fruits, all this? He said, هذا كثير جدا. And nowadays we're lucky to even have one meal on the table. A lot of couples barely even eat. And if they eat, it's always junk food. And as Muslims, we need to eat proper. Naam. Then his wife replied back, she said, لا تأكل. And this فعل الأمر, she's saying, do not eat. لا تأكل, do not eat. Why am I not eating? She'll explain why. She said, اجلس, sit down. Do not eat, sit down. لا تأكل, لا تأكل, اجلس. He said, لماذا? Why? أنا جوعان, I'm hungry. Why am I sitting when I'm hungry? She said, لدينا, we have ضيوف, guests. We have, ضيف is singular, ضيوف is plural. She said, we have guests. نعم. She said, he said, لدينا ضيوف, we have guests. Who are these guests? Men, who? She said, والدي, my father, ووالدتي, my mother, وأخي, and my brother. So there's 3 guests in the house right now. So now it all makes sense why she made the samak, the lahm, the jajaj, wa aruz, the salata, the fakiha. She cooked all that for her family. The question is, if her family didn't come today, would she cook? Or would she tell them, bring us food? Like order us food, Uber Eats, or DoorDashes. Bring us food on your way home from work. I don't feel like cooking today. These are the kind of things we hear in our community nowadays. I'm not in the mood to cook. I'm getting my period. Whatever excuse it is, she doesn't feel like cooking. And we live in a country where if she consents, yes means yes, no means no, and she doesn't feel like cooking, there's no force. But they come up with all these excuses. I don't feel like cooking. I'm not in the mood to cook today. I don't care if you worked 10 hours. Cook for yourself. The kitchen's downstairs. Go downstairs and cook. Cook for the kids, because I don't feel like cooking for the kids. I can only imagine the wives back in the days and the new wives in our generations. And that's why we see a lot of divorce cases, right, in the community, because people don't work as a family. They don't work as a family. And this is really important, to work as a family. He buys the groceries, you help out with the cooking. You cook, he helps out with the chores. But to make someone cook who just finished a 12-hour shift, or to make him do things when he's so tired and he's coming to you and he's saying, "Ana ju'anun jiddan," I'm very hungry, and you're telling him, "La ta'kul, la ta'kul, ijlis," sit down. That's something, just ajaban, ajaban. Naam. طيب. So he said, "Ladaina diyufun," do we have guests? Men, who are they? She said, "Walidi," my father, wa walidati, my mother, wa ukhti, and my sister. Then he said, "Aina diyuf," where are these guests you're talking about? Where are the guests? She said, "Fi ghurfatil julus." They are waiting, they are sitting, they are in the living room. Sitting room in the living room. So now he has to go to the living room and talk to the guests and welcome them to the house, then eat as a family. And we don't see this a lot of times right now. People eating as a family, sitting together on the table, talking about their day, how their day went, asking the kids and asking his wife, "How was your day? What happened at work?" or "What's happening in the neighborhood?" Nobody checks up on each other anymore. It's like everybody just worries about their own maslahah. What happened to sitting together in the living room or on the dining table and talking about life and how your day went and what happened at work? At least to open up. Nowadays it's like everyone's eating on their own. She eats on her own in her room. He eats on his own in the living room, or probably some random room, always on her phone, always on his phone, always on social media, always on WhatsApp and other social media factors, and then there's no communication, right? And afterwards, what happens. But if we cook together and we eat together and we do the chores together, then we grow as a family. And this is what we're doing right now. We're growing as a family, reading these mutun al-ilmiyya and these books so we can benefit each other. If you see someone sitting next to you who's struggling in reading, help them out with al-qa'idah nuraniya, help them with the phonics, the Arabic phonics. If you see that they're struggling with their homework, help them with their homework. If you see that they're struggling with the conversations, help them memorize the conversations, and then you can read it together. After class, قبل الحصة وبعد الحصة, before class and after class. Then the mu'allif said, al-mufradat al-ard, vocabularies, and he wants you to memorize these vocabularies. ضيوف, جوعان, مائدة, سلطة, يجلس, زوجة, زوج, دجاج, لحم. Because we said Arabic is always about memorizing vocabulary. The more vocabulary you memorize, the more your Arabic will be better than the other person. If you don't have vocabularies, then how will you even speak? Forget about grammar. We'll come to grammar when the time happens. For the time being, memorize the conversations, memorize the vocabulary, go back to the audio, listen to each audio, fill in the gaps, fill in the blanks, and answer every single exercise in every unit. Okay? We'll stop here inshallah ta'ala. Tomorrow we'll begin inshallah بعد المغرب or بعد العشاء, depending on the schedule. الوحدة السادسة بإذن الله. صلى الله وسلم على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين.